Hello ratbags, it's Jade with your weekly survival show. I told you guys I'll be back every Saturday, but you gotta make it worth my while. Put up a like if you want to see all the news about your favourite survival games, new ones that are coming. We're kicking off today with lots of watery shenanigans. We've got stuff to do with the Rust updates for PC and console, Breakwater, lots of new info about stuff happening with new games in the way like Icarus and a lot more. So do, like I said, please leave a like and check out the timestamps for the games that you really want to hear about first. The Rust devs Face Punch have done the unthinkable, the mad lads. They've added sharks to the game and underwater exploration. You'll be able to go along, create a brand new fishing rod, maybe pick up some junk and some loot, although I do believe it's mostly just fish for food, and you will also be able to explore the depths in a brand new submarine. This update went live a few days ago. I'm going to be talking about the huge differences between the PC and the console versions, maybe a bit obvious, but pretty much highlighting how poor the console version really is, and take a look at this. I am probably going to be jumping into Rust this time this week. I'm going to give it a go, see what it's like with new stuff. I'm not a pro on PC, but I definitely want to give it a shot and see if I become shark bait. As ever, the PC developers of this game really showing what you should be doing with your survival game. Free, regular content, big, chunky updates, keeping your player base involved and just really smashing it out of the park. Testing stuff thoroughly, having it up online, ready to go, and really just giving everyone a chance, try something new and freshen up the experience. These submarines are 1 or 2 player submarines. You'll be able to explore the procedurally generated laboratories. It's the first time they're going to be doing procedurally generated monuments. They've always had it. Placements are different. This is the first time that each one of the laboratories that you visit may be different from another. And so yeah, it looks pretty interesting. You see the torpedoes, you can take out other players too, and these are the underwater labs. They look a bit, I would say, bare basic, but kind of what you expect. Played Subnautica, you get the idea, but yeah, exploring them. NPCs are going to be in here as well, so you're going to have to clear them out while you try and get some good loot. I can't wait to start seeing some of my creators that I really like watching make some decent content on this. So it's live now for PC. Check it out if you haven't. I'm sure it's massively busy this week and everyone jumping back on it. Absolutely love what the developers of Rust on PC do for this game. Can we get an F in chat for Rust on console? 1.4 went out a couple of days ago or so, and it's got a lot of much needed fixes. Earth shattering new content like not having your game crash when you unplug a headphone or a microphone from your Xbox controller. Amazing! Look at all the multiple UI crashes they've fixed. The multiple crashes happen when loading the game. A crash that could occur with a flamethrower. Marvel at the bug fixes. The bug allowing players to build too close to safe zones. A glitch causing players to go invisible when sitting in the chairs in the bandit camp. Quality of life improvements. Reduced number of seeds from pumpkins and corn. Fixed an issue causing the player list to be invisible. Graphic and UI updated. You'll now maybe be able to see your character model in the inventory. Maybe. Can you note the sense of sarcasm in my voice? This update was meant to have gone live a couple of weeks ago. In fact, every update they've put out has been later than they had planned. And we're already past the point where they said content was going to be coming into the game. 6 to 8 weeks was what they said would happen with getting some of the monuments that were taken out just before the launch of the game that had been present during the beta, as well as the brand new gestures update, as well as gestures and the tech tree that is all meant to have come 2 weeks ago. It's nowhere in sight. There's been no communication about what's happened to it. It's an absolute travesty, Rust on console at the moment. Maybe they're putting it all together. They did say that in 8 to 10 weeks, they would maybe add more content like electricity system. So maybe they're going to do it in just one big patch. But I would say if they're going to do that, it should really have communicated that a little bit earlier. So I don't think they are. I genuinely think we're going to get this maybe in the next couple of weeks, which means it's going to be 3 months before we get a proper big update patch that actually adds new content and not stuff that was just there that's been taken away, or stuff that really should have been there from the start, like the tech tree system. It's a sorry showing. I've discussed it a bunch of times on the channel. If you're curious about why Rust has failed so badly on console, go and check that video out. I will have a more detailed video comparing the PC and the console versions and going into it in a bit more depth. I know Rust players might be happy at least that some of these things have been now addressed, because it's still been pretty buggy and glitchy to play. Particularly the crash is just ruining the experience. But I wonder how many of you guys now maybe should have refunded Rust when I told you 2 months ago. Tribes of Midgard had its first proper update a couple of days ago, other than maybe the launch update, which had a bunch of fixes. They've basically made the game a little bit easier. I've gone over this again in a separate video, all the details, but they have pretty much nerfed a few things, increased buffs for certain weapons, and more or less made it just a slightly bit less of a grind to hopefully do it if you're in solos, smaller groups, or even larger groups. It's a good move, and it does look like Tribes of Midgard is going to carry on updating at a regular pace. I'm still to do my 100-day challenge, which I'm going to be working on now. But yeah, it's looking good. They've also just hit 500,000 players. I did a video recently talking about the fact they hit 250k. Well, in literally just the space of a couple of weeks, it's now 500,000 players have tried Tribes of Midgard out. Smalland's got another creature feature. They've been doing this pretty much every 2 weeks or so now, taking a look at some of the wildlife or the bug life that's going to be appearing in the game. No news yet about when Smalland's going to be opening up a little bit more, if they're going to be doing some open betas or betas just for pre-orders or anything like that. They've been doing closed betas, but only by invite to people that have signed up already in their Discord. To be fair though, we haven't even got a release date, but they have said it's going to be coming in 2021. Much like bees in other games, they're going to be a worker kind of vibe. They're going to be working together. They're going to be getting, obviously, pollen, collecting it for the good of their species. And they'll pretty much be maybe a bit friendly or not necessarily interested in you that much unless you go ahead and attack them. Hive-minded, dedicated hard workers. They can be allied with, and that's a crucial component I don't think it's been spoken about a lot in Smalland. The devs really do want you to align with the creatures at some points. So there will be factions. It also says here that the bee has got a pretty potent sting, and obviously you'll find them near lots of flowers and nectar. It's not a dangerous creature as such, only if you poke the bee. They've also said here that the hive may contain a lot more secrets that you can benefit from. And it does look like if they do sting you, just like in real life, they will actually maybe die. So yeah, making a big deal of the fact that you might have to explore the hives and see what's going on. It's great stuff from them. Can't wait to see more. I want to see more and more of this kind of stuff as we lead up to the release of Smalland. And as always, I'll be the first to talk to you guys about any new developments. Showed off Breakwaters a good month or so ago, and it was pretty successful. It's like 44,000 views in the first video, and the next ones after were pretty good, but it was light on content. There really wasn't enough, and I stretched it out as much as I could to deliver you a couple of weeks worth of videos. But they have been adding stuff in the meantime. I did say we would return, and this is what we'll be checking out for sure. Floating docks. You can build floating bases that maybe will ebb and flow with the sea. They've added a bunch of new changes and improvements to the base building as well. Don't forget, this game is at the moment closed beta, but you can play it and you can show it off if we're content creators. The backers of the project on Kickstarter do get access to this as well, and yes, hopefully it's going to be building to a release in the very near future. This looks really cool. I like the building system. There were some issues with the cameras and stuff, but hopefully now that's been fixed and you can actually go inside your buildings without actually having some sort of fit. They also added farming to the game as well, wholesale, so you can grow stuff really wild. A lot of it does rely on water, obviously, and you need to control the water. You can't overdo the water on the plants, you can't underdo the water on the plants. So it's going to be interesting how this pans out, how you're going to make it all, and you can see we'll put some foundations down to build yourself a nice little crop plot. Remember, water manipulation in this game is a big factor of it, so I love the idea that you will have to control stuff and maybe add your own proper irrigation system. All in all, Breakwaters is coming along nicely. If you haven't checked it out, go and check out the videos I did. Lots of creators are jumping on it now as well. And absolutely go and wishlist it and show some support on Steam. I'll be taking a look at Breakwaters again in about a week's time. Season 4 of Last Oasis has kicked off officially. They've now got it as one big realm between Xbox and PC players, and have added the addition of proper server hosting for yourself. You can run your own server on PC, and they've made it a bit more friendlier to do all sorts of things like admin abilities and what you kind of expect in a lot of survival games. This snazzy new trailer shows off the Rupu King. It looks pretty cool, and yeah, just more shenanigans, more improvements, and more feedback about how to improve this huge MMO survival PvP focused game. It's been a while since I went into it. I still need a bigger reason to jump back in. It's been good, but I definitely can't really afford too much time into Last Oasis just yet. I definitely want to see some more updates before I maybe go in and check it out one more time. But for sure, lots of progress being made, carrying on in the right direction. They've just got to get their player base up a little bit, and they're doing all the right things with these updates. So fingers crossed it is going to carry on being successful, and hopefully you guys are still enjoying it on the Xbox. Now we'll have to see though whether or not playing with the big boys on PC properly with one big realm is going to be actually suitable for a lot of you. So I may have covered this a little bit in last week's video, but I am going to be covering it again because it's coming up very soon. At the end of August, there's going to be a beta for players that pre-order the game. You'll be able to take part in different weekends all up until its launch in November. If you don't know, Icarus has been delayed until November. The first weekend is going to be hunting, exploring, getting experience in the forest biome. Then the second weekend they've got planned 11th to 12th September. That's going to be about storms and pretty much putting your building skills to practice. Can it withstand the wild weather effects? In September they've got again the end of it, Arctic weekend, where you'll be able to try out the more harder biomes. And then the desert is going to be going live in October. And at the end of October, you'll be able to maybe go and take a look at some more of the rewards that you've maybe earned and gained while being on the planet of Icarus. I really hope this goes well. I hope there's enough interest generated by these weekends, and yeah, it could be a really good thing for me to show you guys the progress every month or a couple times a month, and hopefully I'm going to be able to record some content in between and give you a rundown of everything you need to know about Icarus. Ark Survival Evolved's controversial creature vote, where they basically asked community to give some suggestions about what creature could be added in the future as part of their Lost Islands new free map that's going to be coming out soon, and it was a bit of a crap show. Lots of people entered lots of suggestions. There was a mix up between the dossiers and the suggestions showing stuff off, but a winner was finally chosen, and it was the baboon. Now I covered again, separate video, again lots of separate videos, go and check out more details. But don't worry, if you felt you were hard done by, you will have another chance to suggest some creatures. It does look like they're going to be doing the same thing again, opening up a point where you'll be able to suggest the creature, get together a dossier file for it as well, or work with other community members, and your creature idea could be coming to the game. Now, I said later on this year, so I'm not expecting it anytime soon, probably around September, October time. And I'm still going to say it, I don't think Lost Island's going to appear anywhere until at least maybe October. The usual kind of stuff you expect to see, lots of bug fixes, problems with at the moment Windows 10 cryo issues not currently working, being able to freeze your dinosaurs basically. And they've re-wiped beginner servers, so if you're pretty new to Ark, you want a bit of a taste of official life, look out for the beginner servers and it might give you an idea. Survive the Night, the PC survival zombie game, is coming along still, doing its thing, having regular updates. This game just doesn't get enough attention and love. Sure, it's a bit janky and it's still probably a bit light on stuff, but they've been having pretty consistent regular updates, adding new stuff to the game. In this latest one, they're going to be adding swimming and a lot of guide improvements to help you get through the first stages of the game a lot easier. And this is all you can really ask for when a game's in early access, a bit of constant communication, lots of progress being made that you can see, even if it's small things being added or some things that you might take for granted, at least it's being worked and you can see it's been added to the game. So swimming might be something wholesale you see in a lot of games, but obviously for a small development team, it's a big issue. So New World was delayed again. Yes, they had the beta, seems to be running well, getting a lot of positive feedback. Now the release date has been shipped a whole month from August the 28th to September the 28th. I know a lot of people will be pretty pissed off at that as it's now the 4th delay the game has had, but at least we got to see what the game was really like throughout the beta stage. I don't think too much is going to change or go mad, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what could be done in 4 weeks of polish and improvements and maybe making the first early game a bit more interesting. I've got to say, I liked it, I liked doing certain things, but it does feel pretty generic to me. I may be unpopular opinion, but New World isn't really offering anything as substantially new or groundbreaking to me at the moment. Maybe I haven't really experienced enough of the end game stuff, but the grind to get there, just like most survival games, is something you really got to commit to. But for right now, the early game is simply a bunch of fetch quests, kill certain things, same things over and over again. They definitely need a bit more variety in the early game. I didn't really do a kind of first impressions review of it, as I said, I didn't really put enough time into it. But yeah, I'm hoping improvements are made and I will be diving into this when it releases. And finishing off with this game, Farmer's Life. I am pretty interested in playing this. It's been out a couple of days now. I've got a key for it. I'm going to be showing it to you now I'm back from my little week's holiday. And yeah, I'll be taking a look at this brand new game. It is a simulation farming game, but it does have a lot of survival components to it as well. What you expect as you survive in Russia, with lots of vodka and apparently punching your neighbours and your wife as you maybe try and make some moonshine. It's got a lot to it. I'm going to be giving it a go. You're going to be seeing it on the channel very soon. So go and check it out, read the reviews, and wait for that content from me before maybe deciding to try it out for yourself. As usual, another early access title, cheap as chips as well, it's only like 10 quid. So yeah, hopefully it's going to be as good and maybe as funny as it looks. And yeah, just more of a plea, if you want to see more of this type of content, you want to keep up to date with everything that's going on in the world of survival, or you want more individual update videos, you got to let me know. You got to put the comments in, you got to like the video, because at the moment I feel like even doing this on a weekly basis still just isn't that worth it to me. I know I did used to do it a couple times a week, then I went to once a week, then I went to once a month, and then I was trying to do nightly live streams. But overall, some of that stuff has worked, some of it hasn't, and I need to find the right balance between what's good for the algorithm and what you guys want to see and what I enjoy. I like doing these. I like talking about the new stuff that's coming, updates and problems and issues, but I've got to get the love for them because it just doesn't become worth it for me. I might as well just go back to playing just one type of game over and over again for a few weeks, doing guides, tutorials, and not bother looking ahead too much at new stuff. So do please leave a like if you appreciate the work I've done over the years with these survival shows, and I'll see you hopefully next week for Saturday's next one.